After Russia's invasion, many feared Ukraine's internet access would be cut off, either through cyber attacks or the destruction of internet infrastructure, or both. While there have been some temporary outages and attacks on government websites, for the most part, there hasn't been an internet blackout yet. Even so, after Ukraine's Vice Prime Minister Mikhailo Fedorov tweeted an appeal to Elon Musk, the billionaire sent help. Don't forget to watch today's video to the very end for learning how Musk responded to Russia. Dishes show up. Just some days back, a truckload of Starlink satellite dishes, also popularly known as dishes, reached Ukraine. Elon Musk also switched on Starlink's space internet service in the same country, bringing in a round of positive headlines about his world-saving generosity. It's not clear yet if or when Ukraine will be in need of an alternate internet service, but it can't be bad to have the public support of the richest man in the entire world. But some are worried that such support could usher in additional risks if Russia was to trace the satellite signals and target whoever was using them. Concerns that would soon be echoed by Musk himself several days later. Musk isn't the one and only powerful and influential tech magnate that Fedorov, who happens to be Ukraine's Minister of Digital Transformation, has appealed to for aid during the current invasion. Over the last few days, he's tweeted at times emotional pleas to Apple and Tim Cook to block App Store access in Russia, to Google and its CEO Sundar Pichai, and YouTube and its CEO Susan Wojcicki to deplatform the Russian state media, to Cloudflare and its CEO Matthew Prince to block out Russia's access to its services, and to Meta and Mark Zuckerberg to completely block access to Facebook and Instagram in Russia. Fedorov has further tweeted at payment processors and crypto exchanges to cut ties with Russia and called for cyber specialists to join an IT army. An effective strategy. It's a significant part of a seemingly effective strategy. Russia is known for utilizing the internet to advance its propaganda through coordinated social media campaigns. But Ukraine has responded with its own social media tactics, with its leaders making Ukraine's case through personal, often emotional appeals on different channels. As Fedorov commented in a tweet last week, win the hearts of the world while cutting Russians off from technology that's become essential to many aspects of their daily lives. With Musk, though, Fedorov seems to have gotten exactly what he wished for, from a CEO who equally loves attention and has a debilitating habit of jumping into well-publicized problems with his own novel, Musk Company-branded technological solutions. Musk has demonstrated an open willingness to get involved in the Russia-Ukraine conflict in other ways as well. He tweeted SpaceX's logo at a Russian official who threatened that the International Space Station would fall out of the sky if Russia was cut off from it. Not materializing as planned. While Musk is no stranger to collecting accolades for his proposals, it's worth considering that these efforts don't always pan out the same way in actuality. In 2018, a random Twitter user reached him to save a group of teens trapped in a flooded cave in Thailand. Musk seemingly assembled a team of engineers to build an escape pod out of SpaceX rocket parts. It ultimately wasn't utilized in the rescue, and quite unfortunately, the laudable effort ended up with Musk tweeting that one of the divers who saved the children was a pedo guy. Musk then won the subsequent defamation lawsuit. Later, in March 2020, as the coronavirus pandemic hit United States with full force and hospitals ran low on ventilators, Musk tweeted that Tesla would make ventilators in its Buffalo, New York plant. It did not end up doing this. Tesla built a ventilator prototype out of Tesla parts, which has never been put into production since that very day. But the whole affair made for a nice publicity stunt. Musk's promise to donate hundreds of ventilators to hospitals ended up as being Tesla-branded BiPAP and CPAP machines, which are commonly utilized to treat sleep apnea. Tesla didn't really make the machines, but someone did slap Tesla stickers on the boxes. While some of these machines were helpful, they're definitely not ventilators. Musk's efforts have definitely been more successful on other occasions, as he tweeted in 2018 that he would fix the water in any Flint homes that contained lead-contaminated water, and followed up that with the Elon Musk Foundation donating lead filtering water fountains to several Flint schools. Musk also tweeted earlier this year that he wished to send Starlink terminals to Tonga after a volcanic eruption destroyed the cables that provide the island's internet. Starlink did follow that up too, with providing the island with 50 dishes and free service until its access was restored. The gift really helped the people of Tonga and showed Starlink at its best, in remote locations that don't yet have access to wired services or cellular networks. Starlink up and running. Now, let's talk about Starlink in Ukraine. It does appear to be all set up and running, as Musk had initially promised. A man by the name of Oleg Kutkov, who resides in Kiev, tweeted that his dishy was working well. Kutkov told media that he didn't get the dish through Musk's donation though, he had bought it months ago through eBay. He hadn't been able to connect it to the internet then, nor did he expect to be able to do so now. Kutkov is an engineer himself and said he got the dish to see how it actually worked, not to actually use it. Then, Russia invaded his very country. "I saw Elon's tweet and decided to try to connect my dishy," he exclaimed. With a little aid from SpaceX, he was able to transfer to his current location the US-based account to which the dishy had originally been registered. "I was glad to test it and share my results," Kutkov said. "A lot of people are waiting for this." While Ukraine seems very pleased with Musk's benevolence, it may not be of much use. There have been some reports of intermittent internet outages in the country, but, as The Guardian pointed out, it's not an easy task for an invading army to cut a country off from the internet altogether in this age and time, which is provided by several companies through several different mediums, including fiber optic cables, cellular networks, and other satellite internet services. This very well isn't Tonga, where one vulnerable cable supplies the internet to a whole nation. And perhaps it's even tougher to cut the internet off in a country like Ukraine, which has for years faced cyber attacks from Russia. By necessity, it has had to make its internet services as resistant to attacks as physically possible. Just some overhype? Even though having Starlink seems on the surface to be a rather good thing, even if it is as overhyped as about everything else that Musk does, internet access has been an inextricable part of this current invasion and a way for Ukrainians to stay connected to one another and even the outside world. Ukrainians have been downloading communication and connectivity apps, offline and online, in increased numbers in the last few days, including Signal, Telegram, Zello, and yes, also Starlink. And Ukraine's government, as demonstrated through Fedorov's tweet, has employed the internet to make its case to the rest of the world and counter pro-Russian disinformation spread through the country's notorious internet propaganda arms. Ukraine has the great support and sympathy of much of the world, while Russia remains buried under economic sanctions and more companies are pulling their services and products from the country every passing day. What we don't know. We don't know exactly how many dishes Musk sent over, nor are we privy to who will get them or how they'll be used. Neither SpaceX nor Ukraine's Ministry of Digital Transformation have yet answered these questions. But on Wednesday afternoon, Fedorov commented in a tweet that Starlink keeps our cities connected, adding a photo of what appears to be a dishy installed on the roof of a building, presumably within Ukraine. He then reached out to several companies for generators to keep Starlink and other services running if the electricity goes out. Musk responded to the tweet the very next day, saying that a software update would allow for the dishes to be powered through a car cigarette lighter. He added that the dishes had roaming enabled, since some dishes only work at the address they've been activated from, letting them be transported and used wherever they could receive reception. 2 hours later, though, Musk tweeted an ominous warning. Starlink signals could be tracked by Russians, so Ukrainians should use them with caution, a piece of information that, ideally, would have been passed on before Ukrainians began their well-publicized use of Musk's service. With that, we come to the end of today's video. Consider subscribing to join in next time for more of such interesting content.